It's important to make the right decisions, like when to go for it on fourth down, or when to kick the field goal or go for the touchdown. It's also important to make the right insurance decisions too. That's why my office, Trey McAdams State Farm, is here to help you select the right protection at the right price. Our office will make sure you understand your State Farm coverages so you'll know what to expect when the unexpected happens. With Trey McAdams State Farm, it's easy to make the right call. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Proud sponsor of the Tennessee Vols.
The game went sideways early for Tennessee, and they were never really able to recover, and Vanderbilt capitalized on it with a stunning 76-75 win over the Vols, ending with Vanderbilt fans storming the court as Tennessee exits. My three takeaways following that upset loss. I'm Paige Dower. This is the Field Pass on Full Disclosure. My first takeaway has to start with what Igor Milicic said after the game, which kind of left me a little bit surprised, but you start to understand it a little bit. He mentioned that crowd noise seriously impacted what they were trying to do both on offense and defense. We saw a ton of defensive breakdowns happening for the Vols and a ton of mental lapses happening on offense. He says it's hard to focus when you've got 15,000 or so fans screaming at you the entire time. And when you compare it to the other road SEC games that they had, a huge loss to Florida, the fans were kind of out of it late because of how massive the lead was. At Texas, they're on break and the fans are, likely in the college football playoff cheering on Texas at the time. This was their first true road game with a ton of, fans for the home team here. Now, there was plenty of orange here, so when Tennessee started to mount its comeback late in the game, you certainly heard them start to make an impact. But it was surprising to hear Igor Milicic said that, because I remember being in practice earlier this week, watching from the sideline, all of the coaches kept saying, talk to each other, it's going to be loud, you've got to yell to your teammate, you got to let them know that you're open, or that you've set the screen for them, you have to communicate. It was one of the main things that they kept hounding to them that entire week of practice. And I asked Igor, why wasn't that able to translate onto the court tonight? And he says, we just didn't play hard enough. We weren't as consistent, and maybe we didn't take them as seriously as we should have. We were not expecting this game to be as loud as it was. Maybe this is the rude wake-up call that you need, that when your coaches are telling you, hey, this is the SEC, you don't have experience here. Igor Milicic mentioned his ACC experience, with Duke and it being a small gym and loud, so he's been in big games, yet this one felt different. The team was not able to settle in despite being a veteran-led team with a number of their starters and main players being returners from last year. Just a ton of mental lapses. So again, the rude awakening that this team has got to lock in. They have got to figure out why they're not super competitive early in games, why they're competitive in the wrong areas, and where this lack of effort is coming from, leading to a lack of execution. You can blame the crowd noise one time, but if this is one time you use it, you got to know you're not going to be able to use it again later this season. That brings me to my second point, turnovers. Tennessee, on average, is only giving up 13.9 points off turnovers for its opponents. And this game, Vanderbilt cashed in 21 points off of 11 turnovers. The most Tennessee really has given up this season on turnovers, and a lot of it was just mental lapses. A number of them came on loose balls or bad passes from Sakai Ziegler. There was one moment late in the second half following a timeout where bad pass by Sakai Ziegler ends up in a fast break layup on the other end, and Rick Barnes just has his hand in his face the entire time that happened, just totally expressing all of the frustration that he says. And he says, you absolutely cannot do that. There was no defense for open court turnovers. He says there's no reason for him to be making those sorts of plays. But when you're in a game like this, you expect it to be close. You expect it to be a hard-fought battle. You don't want to give them free points, though. And that's exactly what he describes those types of turnovers to be. You're essentially throwing out a lifeline, and they capitalize on an easy bucket because there's no defense for it. Tennessee has got to find a way to communicate better, to be smarter on offense, and not allow that to happen. This was against an unranked Vanderbilt team, and they took advantage of it nearly every single time there was a turnover. 11 turnovers for 21 points. That brings me to my third and final point. Rick Barnes says he's really happy about the fight for this team, and you have to be. I mean, they were down 16 points midway through the second half against Vanderbilt, but they still continued to fight back. The massive play that really kind of put this game close was on an inbound steal on Jordan Gainey, who dished it to Chaz Lanier, and he got the layup in the post. That brought this game, I believe, into 4. It was a 76-72 game with 1:29 to go. Ends with Chaz Lanier at the free throw line. He makes the first one, can't get the second one to fall. You see everyone kind of hot potato trying to get the ball up top, and then a heads-up play, I believe it was by Jason Edwards, throws it back in on what might have been an out-of-bounds type of ball. Sakai Ziegler takes it, throws it from the top of the wing, and it was not able to go in. It was off mark, and they just weren't ready for that. They were ready for overtime. They were not ready for a play that would give them the win. That run needed to start earlier, but the point is that they showed some resilience. They're on the road in a hostile environment, down 16 late in the second half, and they managed to get this game to a one-point game at the free throw line. Igor Milicic says this game's a lot different than it was at Florida, so you can see that they are showing signs that they're learning, but they've got to learn a little bit quicker. They're running out of track to continue to make these self-inflicted errors. They've got to find a way to get out of their own way. This is a really tough physical team that has great three-point shooters. They started the game 5 of 6 at the three-point line. This team has a lot of confidence to them. They just can't be so easily shaken in these types of games. My 3 takeaways following the loss to Vanderbilt. I'll be back here tomorrow for the Lady Vols as they take on the Lady Commodores. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on a single thing. If you want the written version, it's on the website, fulldisclosurepro.com. Talk to you guys tomorrow.